Outside the Box Reviews, we are taking a look at the NECA Aliens Wave 10 Kenner Tribute Queen Facehugger. As with the gorilla before it, this is a redone, reimagined version of the old Kenner Queen Alien figure that I previously did a quick review on. And I would say this is an odd piece, but it's something that NECA's been doing a lot of lately. It's giving us a new body, a new figure in another mold before we get the quote-unquote real version or the movie version. This is basically an oversized version of the Queen Facehugger we'll be getting later, done up in paint similar to the Alien 3 movie. And it kind of reminds me of how we just got that Ultimate Predator body with the Predator Kenner line. But let's go ahead and take a closer look here at the Queen. Or I guess I shouldn't say the Queen, it's just a facehugger that makes the Queen, right? But anyway, we get a comic book just like the other figures in this wave. This one featuring the Queen Facehugger, I assume. This is a Dark Horse reprint, and looks basically what you'd expect it to be. But a cool little added bonus here with the figure. And then in the weirdest twist, the Queen Facehugger comes with itself as an accessory. Now the old Kenner figures, I believe, all came with facehuggers or chest bursters or something of that nature as accessories. And what we get here is the smaller version of the Queen Facehugger. The interesting thing is this is the version or the size that we're going to be getting in a movie style paint. This is the real thing, quote unquote, instead of the larger version they did for this figure. So this is really cool looking. We do have some translucent kind of webbing in between the legs there. It's a nice translucent red, looks very cool. Similar pose to our classic facehugger. We have the two raised up claws here in front, the rest down there on the ground. The body's mostly black with some red highlights throughout. The underside has some really cool, gross looking facehugger anatomy going on there. And then we do get the very long tail with a hooked spine there at the base. And that does have a bendy wire going through it. Not super posable, but it's posable enough for what this is. Overall, a cool little accessory, and I can't wait to get it in the movie paint job. And having said all that about the smaller version, ditto for this thing. It's more or less the exact same figure. The paint is a little cleaner being a bigger piece, but it's still mostly black with red dry brushing over bits of it. I mean, there's some areas that are more solid, like these little indentations here in the back, but that was also true on the small version. We have the red translucent membrane here. We have all the little legs. We have the claws going around. They're all black coming down towards the bottom, which does mimic the original figure. Some nice scaly detail in there. I like how everything's sculpted. The underside looks really good. Ironically, being the Queen, it somehow doesn't look as much like female anatomy as the standard facehuggers do. We have the tail coming out here. It is darker towards the body, then lightens up as we go down, which also mimics the original Kenner figure. We have this nasty looking hook here at the base of the tail, and it is a bendy wire, and I was able to kind of get it into the pose that the Kenner figure had. It's kind of bent up in one section, then hooks back around. There's not much bendy wire here at the very end of the tail, so you do lose some posability there. For the rest of the articulation, it's just little ball joints at the second joint of each of these legs. So we have the claw, one joint that's not movable, and then a ball joint there at the top. The plus side to this is we do get some ball joints here at the raised claws, which do let you pose them around a little bit more. You get into some sinister looking poses, but overall, not a super articulated figure. These legs are also pretty flimsy, and they do kind of just tend to get mushed under the weight of the figure when you try to stand it up, and it just rests on the bottom of it here. And I just realized I did articulation without making it a separate segment, but there's so little here, who really cares? And for a size comparison, we got 4 different pieces here. We have the downsized Tribute Queen, the big size Tribute Queen, the standard facehugger as seen in the Gorilla Alien Blue, and then the old Kenner figure all lined up. And it's very interesting to see them all together. The Queen Facehugger in the small size I think looks great in scale with the standard facehugger. This new one didn't really have to be in scale with anything, but it is a bit smaller than the old Kenner one, which kind of makes it feel a little wimpy in comparison. All the other aliens in this wave are considerably larger than their Kenner counterparts. So it's weird that we kind of get a smaller bit for the NECA redo in this instance. One thing I will say is that for this Kenner version, I wish NECA would have added a sculpted bit here at the front of their facehugger to give it the jaws like the Kenner version had. It's something that's obviously not normal for a facehugger to have on it. I understand that NECA is trying to reuse the same molds, but it would have really been neat to just add on a piece of rubber there in the front with some open or closed jaws. Honestly, I don't care which version, with a little tongue sticking out. It would have really helped sell it as a redo of this Kenner one. This is a solid little figure. but it's one of those figures that NECA releases every so often that makes me just think, I can't wait for the movie version to come out. Because I am really excited for the teased Alien 3 creature pack that I assume we're still going to get sometime down the line. But the fact that that makes this Queen Alien seem like nothing special, it's just a straight up repaint, diminishes it a little bit in my eyes. It's still really cool, but I would much rather have the movie version, so it just leaves me in that state of waiting for the next thing. It's going to get a recommendation, but I think if you're picking up the entire wave, this is the one you're going to probably be least enamored with. I feel like everything I'm saying is detracting from this figure, and I don't mean it to be that negative. So please don't take it that way. This thing does get a solid recommend. I'm just more excited about the other two. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, username Outside the Box Reviews. Check me out on Facebook, link below. And we've got one more alien figure in this wave to cover, so make sure you stay tuned. This has been another Outside the Box review. Game over, man! Game over!